At brunch, my mom said, she's only invited because I felt sorry for her. I sipped my tea in silence. Hour later, my husband arrived and mom dropped her fork the moment she saw him. The clinking of silverware and the hum of brunch chatter filled the restaurant, but my mother's words sliced through it all like a knife. She's only invited because I felt sorry for her. Mom said loudly enough for the whole table to hear. Her voice was coated with venom, a smirk tugging at her lips as she reached for her mimosa before we begin. Drop a comment and tell us where are you from and from which city you're watching our videos, and after watching the whole video, don't forget to tell us. What would you do in this situation? Be honest. Tell me in the comments below, we read every comment. Let's begin. The table went silent. My sister laughed under her breath, whispering something to her fiancé as though the humiliation of her own blood was entertainment. My father shifted uncomfortably, but not once did he defend me. I set my cup of tea down gently, my hands steady, even though my heart felt like it was being crushed in front of everyone. I didn't argue. I didn't cry. Instead, I sipped again, the porcelain rim cool against my lips, masking the burn in my chest inside. Though a storm raged, I had been through enough of her cruel remarks over the years, comments about me being the disappointment, the failure, the charity case of the family, and here she was putting it on display in front of relatives and strangers alike. So quiet, my aunt murmured across the table, her eyes flitting toward me with a mix of pity and curiosity. You never fight back, do you? I met her gaze, my voice came out calm but sharp. Some people let their actions speak louder than words. For a brief moment, silence wrapped the table. My mother scoffed, tossing her napkin onto her lap. Actions, please. What actions? You live off scraps. Don't embarrass yourself. Her cruelty wasn't shocking anymore. What shocked them all was how I didn't flinch. I wasn't the girl they thought they could break. And then an hour later, the air in the restaurant shifted. The door opened, and every head turned when a tall man in a tailored navy suit walked in. His presence carried weight, the kind that silenced chatter and drew attention without effort. His dark hair was neatly styled, his steps steady and his gaze unwavering as it scanned the room until it landed on me. My heart raced, not with fear, but with a satisfaction I had been holding on to all morning. Emma, he said, as he approached, his voice deep, steady, commanding. Mom froze. Her fork slipped from her hand and clattered against the plate, echoing across the table. Her face paled as if she had seen a ghost, because standing there was my husband, Daniel Lawson, the man she never believed existed, the man she thought I had made up when I refused to share details about my private life. But now here he was, in flesh and blood, more powerful, more commanding and more devastatingly real than anyone at that table could have imagined. And for the first time in years, my mother had nothing to say. The restaurant seemed to stop breathing. Forks hovered mid-air. Conversation stalled, even the waiters hesitated in their steps as Daniel pulled out the empty chair beside me and sat down. His hand brushed mine briefly, calm, steady, protective. That single gesture was enough to silence every cruel whisper I'd endured at this table. Sorry, I'm late, Daniel said smoothly, flashing a polite smile at the relatives who had been gawking. Traffic was brutal. His tone was casual, but the weight of his presence pressed on everyone like a thundercloud about to break. My mother's lips parted, but nothing came out. She blinked, as if she was trying to convince herself this was real. You're her husband. Her voice cracked, and for once, the sharp edge she always used on me dulled into disbelief. Daniel tilted his head slightly, his jaw tightening. Yes, and who are you exactly? Her mouth opened and closed, a fish gasping for air. I am her mother. He leaned back, eyes narrowing, and in that moment, the table understood he wasn't just anyone. His confidence, his control, his very existence radiated power. People like him didn't wait to be introduced. They commanded the room without asking permission. My sister Amber was the first to break the tension with a scoff. This can't be real. Emma married to you. She laughed as though the idea itself was a cruel joke. I mean, come on, look at her. She can barely afford her rent. The words stung, but I didn't let them see. Daniel's hand tightened over mine before I could speak. Funny? Daniel said, his voice deceptively calm from where I stand. She's the strongest, most capable woman I've ever known. Maybe that's why she doesn't waste her time trying to tear other people down. Amber's smile faltered. Her fiancé shifted uncomfortably beside her. I could feel eyes burning into me from every angle, relatives who once ignored me, cousins who whispered about my failures, all staring now, wondering how they had missed the truth. Mom finally snapped out of her daze. Wait, she said sharply, her voice trembling between outrage and desperation. If you're really her husband, then who are you? Daniel pulled his wallet from his suit jacket, placing a sleek, embossed business card on the table. The golden lettering gleamed under the light. Silence deepened as my aunt leaned forward, squinting at the name. Her eyes widened instantly. Daniel Lawson, CEO of Lawson Global Holdings. The shock that followed was a wave crashing through the table. My uncle coughed into his napkin. My cousin's jaw dropped. My sister's fiancé muttered a curse under his breath, but my mother, she went pale, completely pale. Her fork lay forgotten on her plate, her manicured nails twitching as she reached for her glass of water. You've been mocking your own daughter, Daniel said, his tone sharp now, Well, she has quietly stood taller than every insult you've thrown her way, and yet you didn't even notice the way he said. It wasn't angry, it was worse. It was controlled, cold, each word carved deep into the silence like a blade. I sat there, still and quiet, but my heart pounded. For years I had dreamed of this moment, not revenge exactly, but just as proof, a mirror held up to the people who had spent their lives humiliating me. Amber laughed again, but her voice cracked this time. This is ridiculous. You're lying. Emma, can't she wouldn't? Daniel turned to her, his eyes narrowing. Do you think she's beneath me, that a woman has to prove herself to you before she's worthy of love? Maybe you should ask yourself why you're so quick to sneer at someone who's done nothing but endure your cruelty with grace. Amber, flushed red, her mouth snapping shut. For once she had no clever insult. My mother finally found her voice again, but it shook. Emma, why didn't you say anything? Why didn't you tell us? I let out a slow breath.